I think Bitwig just out-Bitwig themselves. I've read all the blog posts, I've seen all the other videos of version 6, and I think none of them really get to the core of this new version. Here is a no-nonsense deep dive on Bitwig 6. All the new features, why they matter, and how you can actually use them in real music. Hey, my name is Lo. I'm a film composer with over 20 years of experience. Let's dive into all the latest features of Bitwig 6. First feature, probably the most simple one, but one of the things I miss the most about Ableton. If you press A, you see all your automation lanes and you see the latest button you just touched. If I go to feedback, it's the feedback button or the mix button or the high cut. It is just really handy. If you change any knobs in your settings and you just press A, you know that your automation is right there. You don't have to look for it. It's always on top. They clearly stole this from Ableton, but God, it's so good. And I don't understand why this is not a standard version in most DAWs. It makes life just so much easier. Let's start with this pad, and I'm going to show you some different ways to input automation. Nothing special yet, but wait a minute, stuff is coming up. I'm going to start with the pointer tool. Here I can actually just double click. Wherever I double click will be a point added to my automation. If I put my cursor just above or under a line, it becomes white and I can push that up or down. And if I press Option, I can make my selected line algorithmic or logarithmic. Nothing too special yet. Over here we got the selection tool. I can select the automation and move it around over my timeline. If I press Option, I can move that whole part up or down like it is an attenuator. We have Pencil. With Pencil, we can just add nodes with just one click of the button. Really easy. And the nice thing with the pencil tool is I can also drag it and now it becomes a straight line, which can be really handy to make weird automation lanes that move up and down, but then sometimes stay at a point and then move somewhere else. A new function is the spray tool. The spray tool follows your selected grid. I can just click anywhere and move around. I can very easily make a step sequencer like automation. And now if I would just grab one part of this with the selection tool and duplicate it, now we have like a standard step sequencer. This is getting a little bit more interesting now. If we zoom in to the automation that we made over here, I want some round lines in there, just some fun stuff. I want to duplicate you a couple times there. Here we have like a fun automation loop. If I just grab this automation that we were just playing around and I consolidate this, Command J for me, now this became a clip and they will behave like normal audio clips. I can now duplicate it twice, but I can just, let me take the middle one out. I kind of want this one to go faster, so now I do Option and I can make it way shorter, but the automation stays the same, or I can stretch it longer. Now it's 4 bars. And now I have the second one, I want it to be 3 bars, and then I duplicate it again, and that one I want it to reverse, and then I want to go back to 4 bars again. That's quite an amazing automation route that we really quickly made. What you just saw me doing by cutting, stretching, duplicating, reversing automation, it makes it really feel like musical material instead of just some lines and graphs. But let's dive a little bit deeper now that we have these different clips. If I double click on them, it will open up in the lower third. And if I select a couple of nodes at the same time, there's a little menu that pops up that is new as well. Let's go over that. What can we do? With value, I can push them up or down. Or if I open up side menu, I can scale them out. So I can actually make them go further away from each other or closer to each other. Or with chaos, it looks like it takes every other node and goes it in an opposite direction. They go everywhere. Next one, curvatures. I can change the curvature in between all these nodes at the same time now. And for the same one here with chaos, I can actually have them go in opposite directions if I want to. Halt means the automation now draws lines in between dots. With hold, they become stable. So they become steps. So I can just click on hold now, and now the same sequence becomes a step sequence. Then I have spread. Spread is where things get super interesting. If I add spread, the dots become a line. What it does, it adds randomization to your automation. So I have an automated curve. It will always play that automated curve. but the next time around, it will take a point somewhere in between those two lines, and I can choose how much it's spread out. So the overall curvature will stay the same, but every round it plays, it will play differently. This is just crazy good. Bitwig wouldn't be Bitwig if they were like, we're gonna make this one step deeper because we have a clip menu like Ableton has. And I can play audio clips, single audio clips, or I can play complete scenes, whatever I want. Well, if I open up an automation lane, I can actually grab a clip and drag it in there. And I can drag the reverse clip and drag it in there. You know what? Let's just add a filter. Now I added the filter frequency. I can grab this guy and let that do the filter frequency. You know what? That's not really clean to me, so I can just change the color of it. Grab this one and grow on the resonance. I can play my track out as is, but I can actually add automation with clips over top, and I can actually add whole scenes. So I can just change all the automation on a whole scene and then play scene 2, then all the automation on 20 tracks change right at the same time whenever I want. For live situations, this is incredibly good, and especially if you want to build like cool build-ups and total drops, this gives you absolute superpowers. Okay, let's recap this. We opened an automation lane, we drew in some automation, we made that into a clip, stretched that, duplicated that, reversed that, then opened the clip itself, change all kinds of different parameters to the nodes of the clip, then grab those automations, drag that into our clip launcher, then spread them out over different parameters and are able to launch the automation like clips, launch them as scenes, to have multiple going at the same time. I have no idea what's happening here. We gotta understand, Bitwig is notoriously known for having an absolute garbage automation, and they revamped the whole business, and now by far they have the deepest integration of automation of all DAWs that I know of, at least. Well, that's it for automation. You would think, nah, you can always go one step deeper. So you know how Bitwig is all about modulation, and that's why automation was always kind of lagging in the program? Well, look at this. If I now open up modulation lanes, where I normally would put in like an LFO, I can just grab any of these clips that I made earlier and I can drag it in there. And then I can open up the menu, change the speed of it, change the intensity of it, reverse it. If I do the same thing and I hold Alt, it will start a curves module. And now I can move that to whatever I want. It also works the other way around, because curves is known for, like, I can open up a curve and change it over here, but I have a menu with endless amount of curves. So if I go into my clip launches and there's a plus, there they are. I can grab the same curves, drag them in. Now I can actually move them in my automation lane, and I can stretch it out, and I can cut this little block and reverse this, put them all together and make them into a new clip again, and then drag that back into the curves. This is some crazy fast editing for any form of modulation or automation. Alias clips. Repetition is what makes music stick. The hook in a pop song, a motive in a film score. But in a DAW, repeating clips usually means endless copying and pasting, and it's easy to lose track where you're at. Well, Bitwig 6 has a new solution to that. It's called clip aliases. You can choose what clips follow each other. Edit one and all the repeats update instantaneously. Here I have selected my snare for this particular track that I'm working on right now. I can just grab any of these clips, and over here there's this little fingerprint and it shows all the clips on this track. So I can actually add multiple clips to one alias clip, and as you see, there is like multiple clips that have a paperclip added to it. This means if I edit one of these clips, I will edit all of these clips. So as a quick example, I can just go into this clip and let's slice it. Okay, I'm gonna delete the third one. I'm gonna make this one a bunch longer so it will sound weird. Okay, I like the difference in sound because the second one is stretched so far. Let's go to the last one and make that 3 times. As you see, everywhere where this clip is, it made that same pattern transition. It can change note information and pitch, and it can also change modulation. It's like having your musical ideas mirrored across your tracks. Set your motif once and let Bitwig carry it out across the score. It's repetition without all the repetition. When I made the video leaving Ableton for Bitwig after 5 days, a lot of you commented that the piano roll was basically garbage. And honestly, I had to agree. It definitely needed some love. Well, here we are. Bitwig 6 gave the piano roll a full overhaul. It's cleaner, smoother, and now it even follows your global scale settings. So over here, I can change the global scale setting. I can change my key and my mode. Let's just grab a C Dorian. I really love that it always gives you a little representation of what notes are in this scale. So it's super easy if you're playing in a key that you're not really used to. You can just look at the screen and right away follow the notes that are actually in this key. A great little simple reminder. Let's open up a MIDI clip. So what do we have? All the light blue lines are the notes that are in key. You can see minor, Dorian, you see how they slowly change over. And then we have the lightest line, and that is the actual root. I'm not gonna go over all the options over here. I just want to show you the things that make sense. Well, with the pointer, of course, I can just add notes in. With the spray can, I can add multiple notes in one row, and they will follow the way you've set your grid. So on a wider grid, there will be longer notes. And if I hold Option, I can actually move over and spray the notes in. Now they are not in key, but over here I have this option to lock to key. Now if I do the same thing, they will always fall within the key. As long as this one is turned on, I can grab a note and I would go up or down. It will skip a note because the note above and the note under are not in the scale that we're working with. This makes it very easy to always stay in pitch. Another awesome way to add in notes, let's delete that, step input, the 2 little feet over there. So whatever note I press, it will play one note in the grid. Cubase has this as well, and I use it a lot. If I want to write like a super fast sweep, this makes that extremely easy. It's a really fun way to bring notes into your session. That's it for new things on this side of the menu. Another thing that they added to the piano roll is this little waveform over here. If I click on that, I can actually show other audio waves inside my MIDI. This is extremely handy if I want to line things up to other things in the track, and I think this is visually a very smart way of going about that. If I click the same icon longer, I can choose whatever lane I want to show over here. Then this little tune fork, I can change my MPE. I can change pitch, pressure, timbre, gain, and pan. I can do that right on the notes. This is visually a lot cleaner than how it used to be in an automation lane under it. That's it for the piano roll. Let's open up an ARP. So I'm not going to show you all the options, but a lot of Bitwig's modules now have the snap to grid, or in the module they call it use global signature. What used to happen, if I have an ARP here and I change some of the notes, it always goes wonky. Like either it works for this chord, but then in the next chord everything is off, then we get back into it again. It's always been messy. With use global scale, it actually now changes how many steps within the scale that we're working with. So So now it's just very easy to change a couple of notes within an arpeggiator throughout a whole chord progression. This gives you just a lot of freedom, and this makes the arpeggiator in Bitwig just so much better. And the use global signature can be used on almost all MIDI modules. These were all the important updates for Bitwig 6. Bitwig 6 is still in beta, so Bitwig, if you're listening, please add video support. We really want to be able to put videos inside of Bitwig. I'll put a download link to Bitwig 6 in the description. I hope you like this video. If you're interested in why I changed from Ableton to Bitwig, click on the video over here, and I'll catch you next time.